Have you noticed that some entrepreneurs scale month after month without being chained to their desk working 80-hour weeks? Well, it's all thanks to one skill, systems thinking. And when I mastered it, I grew my business to multiple six figures, working just a few hours a day. And my clients have used it to close $1 million deals, working just 20 hours a week. So in this video, I'm going to show you what systems thinking actually is, the free tools you can use to apply it to your business, and how you can use them to scale faster while working less. So to start, let me break down what systems thinking actually is and why it's so powerful for helping businesses scale. See, most people look at their business like a collection of separate problems. Sales feels broken, marketing feels inconsistent, delivery feels stressful, which means they jump from one issue to the next, constantly fixing things, but not really getting anywhere. But imagine instead, right, that you're looking at a set of cogs, which I'm going to draw like this, so excuse my drawings. As you can tell, I'm an amazing artist, but if one cog turns faster, right, every cog is affected and also turns faster. But if one cog jams and slows down, the whole machine slows down to a stop. Now, in a set of cogs, nothing is happening on its own and absolutely everything is connected. That is systems thinking. It's seeing how cause and effect flow through your business instead of reacting to, an isolated symptom like shouting at a single gear in a machine. When you understand how things influence each other, outcomes become more predictable and decisions become much easier, both of which are game changers when it comes to growing your business. So now let me show you the free tools you can use to start thinking in systems and scale your business while you're working less. And this first tool is something you cannot skip because this is what every other tool in the entirety of systems thinking is actually built upon. Now, to explain it, again, I want you to imagine a set of cogs, and let's see if I can draw, maybe not, I can't draw this one better, but I don't know if you can tell that I'm a math nerd and have a finance degree rather than an art degree, but what most business owners do is, see if this last one is slow, they just look at this last cog and they only try to speed it up. But what they don't realize is that the last cog is the result of what the cogs before it are doing. If they're not moving faster, this last one won't either. And that's how most business owners operate. They react to the outcomes, not what created them. But the fix is simple, right? You have to follow systematic principles. So let me show you what I mean. Now, every system has 4 core components. We have the input. We then have the processes. These shapes are a bit easier for me to draw. We then have the output, and that output goes into a feedback loop, okay? And because every single part of your business is a system, this is how everything in your business works. Something happens, which is the input. This triggers something else to happen, a process or a task, which can then trigger more processes until an output is produced. This system will then have a number of data points based on each step, which form the feedback loop, as the data shows how the system and each stage of it is performing, which you can then act upon. And how you can use this to scale your business is by understanding that every single thing in your business follows this structure, which means every single thing in your business follows a predictable pattern, so it can be mapped, adjusted, and improved in a systematic way using feedback and data. So let me give you an example here to make this real. I'll not do an entire business because that'll take way too long. But let's say you had a business which had the free tasks of, let's say, creating content, sending emails to its list, and then running retargeting ads. Well, the purpose of these free tasks is to, it's to generate leads. So generate leads. So these are all marketing tasks where we're trying to get people interested in working with us. So these free tasks would form free processes in our, I wrote that way too big, in our marketing system. Now, for the marketing system, what is the input? Well, I always say that it is your target avatar because that's what we'll base our content, our emails, and our ads on. And so it is the input. And the output is obviously leads, as that's what we're trying to produce with these free tasks. Now, that's obviously just a quick example because you can start thinking about SOPs or fixed assets and all as well, right? But you can now see that marketing, which 2 minutes ago was probably all up in the air and felt super overwhelming, is now really clear and structured. You have a clear marketing system whereby to get leads for our business so that we can grow the business, sell to the leads, etc. We do these 3 things, which you can track the data for in terms of, content produced, emails sent, ads made, leads generated, open rates, click-through rates, and whatever else. And based on that data, you can then do more marketing to get more leads and grow the business. But once you see how things actually flow through your business, there's a new problem that shows up. And this is the reason so many business owners work all day, but still feel like nothing really moves. So let me show you the second tool which solves this. So what I want you to picture is a factory with 5 machines, okay? This factory has a conveyor belt that runs through all of these machines, but the product, the thing you're making, is being made incredibly slowly. The thing that's meant to come out here at the end of machine 5. What do? Well, most business owners just look at this, last station and think, right, how can we speed this up? But most of the time, it's not this 5th machine that's causing the problem. Because let's say it's machine 3 that's slow. Well, what happens? Well, all the product from machine 1 and machine 2 just piles up before the 3rd one. And both the 4th and 5th machine are sitting there empty, waiting on the stuff from machine 3. So if you want to get more output at the end, more finished product, you can't just speed up machine 5. That's not going to do anything. Instead, you have to use this second tool, which comes from the theory of constraints, where there's only ever one limiting factor in a system. And no matter what you do, if you don't fix that constraint, the entire system's output will be limited. So let me use that marketing system as an example to make this concrete. Let's say you look at your data and your sales are low. You might think, well, my sales team is crap. They're not closing at a high enough rate on sales calls. So maybe you try to fix that. You get them new scripts, new trainings, etc. But if you took a minute to analyze your data, you might see that the reason sales are low is because the number of leads who book a call is low. And so the bottleneck is actually in the marketing system, not your sales system. And so maybe you look and your emails, which you have to send to your list, have a low open rate. So nobody opens your emails, nobody reads them or books a call through them. And that's your bottleneck. And you have to solve it to improve your sales. You trying to improve your sales reps is basically going to have zero impact on your sales performance here. And this is why so many business owners work all day but never get anywhere. They're putting all their effort into things that are not the constraint, right? You know what it's like? It's like trying to get water out a pipe. So water flowing in here, and you're trying to get water out the end, but there's a fucking blockage in the middle, right? You're never going to get more water out the end when there's a blockage halfway down the pipe. And this is because most business owners don't think in systems, because most of us were never taught to think in systems. But as soon as you do and you understand how constraints work, you can use this to scale your business by analyzing your data, finding your constraint or the blockage in the pipe, and then going all in on it, fixing it until it's solved. If you don't fix that constraint, no amount of hard work upstream or downstream of the constraint will matter, because if you get your sales team to start closing at 80%, an amazing close rate, well, they're still only closing 80% of the low number of calls that come in through your marketing system. So now you can see the entirety of your business, right? And you know where your leverage point is, or at least how to find it, where that constraint is. It's limiting the business. But there's one final problem here that most business owners never solve. And it's exactly why they stay stuck as the bottleneck in their business and actually stop it from growing. So let me show you a tool for you to solve it. So imagine you disappeared for 30 days and you couldn't check Slack, Teams, emails, you couldn't make any decisions or do any tasks, and you couldn't even do the classic, I'm just going to hop in for 5 minutes, right? One, your business would fall apart first. What would not get done? What would people wait on you for? And what would you worry about the most? For most people, the honest answer will be everything, because the business owner is the system and therefore is the bottleneck. And if they don't work, the business doesn't work. And this is exactly what I help my clients solve inside the Mastery OS, which there's links for in the description below. But whatever you answer to these questions shows you something super crucial in your business. Anything that fails, if you're not there, isn't systemized, it's dependent, okay? So look, you don't build systems so you can work harder. You can do that, but really you build them so that you're not the bottleneck and your business finally becomes scalable. But every failure point that you uncover shows you what systems need to be built next. So if, for example, we go back to that marketing system where we have content, we have emails, and we have ads. And these are all purpose. These is to get leads. So if you went on vacation for 30 days, what would fail? So if emails stop being written, well, then that aspect of your marketing system is entirely dependent on you and it's not systemized, which means you can use this to scale your business by taking a vacation Or, you can obviously just do this as a thought experiment, but I would highly recommend taking an actual vacation, seeing what falls apart, seeing what breaks, slows down, etc. Because these are the areas where the systems are non-existent or weak and in turn need improved for the business to scale and to remove you as a bottleneck. So you can then come back and build those systems and make the business less dependent on you. And if you want to see where you've missed, like what aspects of your business are you neglecting systems thinking in, this 30-day vacation test is essential. But of course, none of this matters if you don't know how to build systems in your business properly. So click this video on screen now and I'll show you how to systemize your entire business in just 12 weeks.